So on the S&P today, there was no trades, but there was a long setup. But like I was saying, since the overall market structure right now is not in my favor for longs, like the last long that I would have took was, I think it was 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, where the S&P came down from that tariff news. It had a double bottom on the day chart. So no longs. But again, there was a setup that I normally would take, and it might still win. But for me, I've just noticed that since we've already pushed up the last week or two, and we're at a major trendline connection too on the day chart, that if I go for a long, it's just less likely to win since it's already ran up. It's almost like I'm taking the last 10% of a move on the bigger scale of things. So, but if we came down harder, let's say the next couple of days, then a long setup could be in play if it gives me my setup. I've been taking a lot of shorts lately, but that's just because the market is giving me shorts. So it's that simple, you know? But I wanted to talk about how to create your edge and how I created my own edge. So for whatever reason, as I'm watching the market, so I've been trading for 1 year and 7 months right now. I started actually the very end of March of 2024. So just over a year and 7 months. But the way I got my edge was through watching the market, seeing certain patterns, and then taking those patterns basically. And then I refined it once I kind of saw the market conditions for my edge. So I didn't just take every single setup on the 5-minute chart, because that's what I use. I'm still using the bigger time frames to understand the bigger picture for that day and for that week. It's probably more like, that day and that week. I mean, how much potential is there to the upside or downside? So not every trade is going to have this huge 50 plus point move on the S&P. If you get, at least for me, if I get a 30-point move, that's a pretty good trade. And anything above 50 is just, that's not as common, but those are really good trades. And if it gets going above 70 or 80 for my target, that's a pretty huge trade. So they're not as common, but you capitalize off of it, and then you can scale up the account now because you can up the contracts. And now those 30-point trades are kind of like that 60-point trade or 70, if you know what I mean. Because you now can use whatever, 50% more capital or 100% more capital. Depends how much you're risking for that 70-point move. But it can increase your account size dramatically. I said that in my last video. So, how to create your edge. Again, I created my edge from looking at the market, and for whatever reason, my brain saw certain patterns. It didn't see the other patterns that I notice as I'm trading. For instance, a breakout trade. My brain didn't seem to be attracted to a breakout strategy. But if yours is, you got to back test it, see how often it works. What is that setup? What's the market conditions for that setup? When I say market conditions, I mean if you're using a 5-minute chart like I am, there's a pattern that you see. And when you zoom out to the 30-minute, hour, 4-hour, you can almost see the same type of setup just on a bigger scale. So a couple weeks ago when I had a massive trade, It was a trendline key level setup that I have. But when I zoom out to the 4-hour chart, I think it was the 1-hour chart, it showed a similar setup. So that's a really high quality trade for me. It gives me extra confirmation about the momentum for the day, or the probability of the momentum in my favor over time. You can't think about just that one trade winning. I never enter a trade saying, this is going to win. I never say it's going to lose. I take it with this mindset of, this is one of the next 10 to 20 trades. So I could lose this one, lose the next, but then I might win the next one. Or I might win this one, but I still take the next one even though it could just lose. I don't see it as just, oh, I just took away profit from that trade that I just took. I see it as just another trade in the block of trades that I'm taking throughout the next 2 months or whatever, however long it takes to get that 10 to 20 trades. I'm using 10 to 20 trades just because it's a good amount to get a win rate from, and just get your overall probability basically, and to see if your strategy works. So you might have a 40% win rate on one block of trades, and then the next block, maybe it's 55, and then maybe the next one it's 35. One after that, maybe it's 40 again. I mean, it changes. So the way I would get an edge is I would look at the market. I wouldn't even trade in the beginning because you have no idea what you're even doing. But you would look, you're going to see certain patterns that happen over and over again. And then eventually you can go on a simulated account and you can take those setups. You got to come up with the exact entry, where you're going to put your stop loss, where's your target. Are you going to watch during the trade? Are you going to walk away? How often do you check to see what the trade's doing? That type of thing. Do you move your stop loss down? Do you adjust your target if it's not moving in a more aggressive manner towards that target and it's getting later in the day? So it's just less time for the market to continue to go in that direction. All these things, you know. So again, for whatever reason, my brain was attracted to the setups that I have. I got 2 setups. Can you have more? Yeah, but you're probably going to find that there's going to be 1, 2, 3 setups that make most of the money and have the most probability to win. So they're the most high quality setups. They're the most high quality market conditions, you know? So just try that. And if you already have an edge, first you got to ask, do I truly have an edge? Because I thought I had an edge until I had a playbook, and then I really had an edge. So if you have an edge, then, and it's profitable, then keep doing it. If you're not profitable and you're in this weird, sometimes I'm profitable, I'll hit a nice trade, but then I'll lose the next 5. But you probably had a couple trades in there that weren't really your edge. You need an exact edge. It can't just be similar. It really needs to be accurate, and that's the way to become profitable, really. So in the beginning, you're not going to have a perfect edge, but over time you'll refine it, and yeah, man, just see how it goes. So